My cousin and my sister are due any day now, and they are done. They are so done. They are ready to have their babies. They're doing all the things to bring on labor, walking, clearing stage, dates, primrose oil, and they're texting me every few days, is this a sign of labor? Is that a sign of labor? And I want to share my answer with you. By the end of this video, you'll know how to recognize the top 10 signs that you will be meeting your baby soon. First, my name is Maria. I'm a Lamaze certified childbirth educator and owner of the app Natural Birth by Echo, a free resource with all the tips and tricks you need to make your unmedicated birth a positive one. With that, let's get into it. Okay, the first sign that labor is near is nesting. When I was younger, I had a pet mouse, and this mouse was pregnant. The day before she gave birth, she built a cozy little nest, and then that evening, she had 12 tiny little mouse babies. But how did my mouse know to get her nest ready? How did she know she would be in labor soon? She didn't. In the days leading up to labor, mammals get an increase in the mothering hormone prolactin that sets off this nesting instinct, and they feel this urge to suddenly start preparing. In humans, the nesting instinct might be a sudden urge to clean behind the stove, get everything prepared. For example, the day before I had Colby, I scrubbed every inch. I found dirt on the baseboards, invisible to the human eye. You'd never seen a house so clean. So if you have a sudden need to organize the garage and scrub the toilets, it could be a sign your baby will be arriving very soon. The second sign that labor is near, diarrhea. Ew, I know. A few days before labor starts, your body releases prostaglandins to ripen the cervix and prepare it for dilation. Prostaglandins also have a side effect of diarrhea, so if you're usually regular and then you randomly wake up running to the bathroom, get ready. The third sign that labor is near is lightening crotch. And this is kind of hard to describe if you haven't experienced it before, but you will know it when you feel it. It's a sudden, sharp pain that feels almost electrifying. It's over in a second, but it is quite intense. Lightening crotch occurs because your baby is figuring out his way downward into your pelvis, and on the way, he might bump a nerve, which sends that electrifying shock through your body. When I was close to having Colby, my friend was over, she was holding Josephine, and I was standing in the doorway talking to her. In the middle of a sentence, when suddenly I go, and I grabbed my belly. It was quick, it was involuntary, and little Colby was born 24 hours later. The fourth sign that labor is near is losing your mucus plug. Throughout the course of pregnancy, there is a little glob of mucus that blocks the cervical opening, keeping out unwanted germs and bacteria. But now that your baby is almost here, you don't really need that mucus plug anymore. So you might find a big gooey glob in your panties or when you go to the bathroom. This is a very good sign that your body is gearing up and getting ready to welcome your baby. All right, the fifth sign that labor is near is a sudden change in energy. You might wake up feeling on top of the world and go about your day dancing and singing with crazy energy, or you might be unusually sluggish and tired. You could feel either fatigue or energy, which is confusing, but the key here is that there is a sudden change from whatever your normal is. Okay, sign number 6, lightening. Not lightning crotch, lightening, aka when the baby drops, and I mean literally drops. Just take a look at these two photos. On the left, you see a pregnant mom looking normally pregnant, and on the right, you see her belly lower and smaller than it was before. That's because her baby has started to make his way out of her torso and into her pelvis. So if your big, beautiful belly suddenly changes shape, know that your baby is beginning his journey out of the womb and into the room. The seventh sign that labor is near is a change in fetal movement. And this one can be alarming if you're not expecting it. All of a sudden, you don't feel your baby move as much. It's not necessarily a cause for concern because as you get close, the baby just has less room to move, and they're also in a different position, facing downward. So the big kicking movements will not be as frequent, or they may be gone altogether. You still will feel the occasional little butterfly flutters, but decreased movement in general is a sign that you're getting close. Okay, number 8 is back pain, and I hate this one. I hate it, hate it, hate it. When you seem to have excessive back pain all of a sudden, it could be because your baby is getting into position for labor, but they're posterior, meaning the back of their head is against your back. And side note, this is actually not ideal as it leads to back labor, which makes everything longer and more painful for you. So if you are dealing with this and you want to avoid back labor, download my free app, Natural Birth by Echo, to learn how, and I will link that below. Okay, the 9th sign of impending labor is weight loss. And I know you don't commonly associate pregnancy with weight loss, but in the day or so leading up to labor, you might see the scale drop a couple of pounds. This is because your baby has dropped or lightened, like I mentioned before, and they're putting extra pressure on your bladder, so you're running to the bathroom all the time. There's also less amniotic fluid, so the pounds lost they're really just water weight and not fat loss, but keep an eye on the scale for some subtle clues. And the final sign of labor nearing is kind of obvious, but still worth mentioning: cramping or even contractions. Full-on contractions are obvious, but they might start with just that little bit of cramping in your belly or your back. Remember, those early labor contractions are not very intense. You can talk through them, walk, and carry through like nothing. So if you're experiencing more Braxton Hicks than usual, or they seem to be extending to your back, that could be a good indicator that your baby is right around the corner. When your due date is near, you might get all of these signs. You also might get none of these signs. Every mother is so different, and remember, there's no right or wrong to your body's wisdom. If you liked this video, you are gonna love my other stuff, so hit subscribe to get the information you need for an awesome unmedicated birth, and I will see you next time.